There's a specific kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with how much you slept. You can get a full 9 hours, wake up before the alarm even goes off, and still lie there for a few extra minutes with your eyes shut, because opening them means stepping back into the same day in the same body playing the same role you played yesterday. Psychologists actually have a name for what's happening here, and once you hear it, the last few months might start making a strange kind of sense. Picture your mind as a browser that's been left open too long. Dozens of tabs running quietly in the background, none of them ever fully closing. One tab is your job performance. Another is a conversation from 3 days ago that you're still not sure landed right. Somewhere in there is your bank balance, a family member's health, the version of your future you were supposed to have by now, all humming along at the same time. None of them loud enough on their own to explain why you feel this way. You're not in crisis, you're just running 30 small things at 6% capacity each, all day, every day. And nobody around you can see the tabs, only the screen. And it isn't only the big, obvious stressors doing the damage. It's replying to a work email at 9 p.m., deciding what's for dinner for the fourth night in a row, remembering a birthday, holding a friend's bad news gently while your own week is quietly falling apart in the background. None of it looks like much from the outside. Stacked together over weeks, it adds up to something closer to a slow leak than a single wound. Somewhere in that process, something shifts in how reward actually works in your brain. The dopamine system, the part responsible for anticipation and pleasure, doesn't switch off completely, but it does get sluggish after running on overdrive long enough. So the things that used to let you up instantly, a new song, a text from someone you like, a free weekend with nothing planned, they still register. Your brain knows logically that this is supposed to feel good. It just doesn't arrive the way it used to. And there's a strange guilt in noticing that gap. There's a term for that specific in-between state. The sociologist Corey Keyes named it languishing, describing it as the space on the mental health spectrum sitting between depression and actually flourishing. Neither crisis nor joy, just flat. This is usually where the outside world starts handing out advice. Get outside more, go for a run, read a book instead of scrolling. And sure, none of that's wrong exactly, but nobody explains why at 11 at night you'll choose the fourth rewatch of a show you've already memorized over literally anything new, even something you'd probably enjoy more if you tried it. Your nervous system, this depleted, isn't chasing enjoyment anymore. It's chasing certainty. A rerun asks nothing of you. You already know which character says which line. You already know exactly when the sad part hits, so you can brace for it. There's no unknown your body has to sit with. New content, even good content, asks your brain to predict an outcome it hasn't seen before. And prediction costs energy you don't currently have to spend. And this is what makes it so isolating. A friend texts, "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while, you good?" On a normal week, that's just someone checking in. On a week like this, your stomach drops a little because answering honestly means either performing fine again or explaining a feeling you don't have the language or the energy for. So the message sits there, read unanswered for 2 days, then 4, and eventually you send back something short and vague. All good, just busy. Meaning it as a kindness, a way of shielding them from a version of you that feels like too much to hand anyone right now. Except from the inside, it feels less like kindness and more like slowly disappearing from your own life, apologizing for it in your head every night. From a distance, meanwhile, your life might look completely fine. You still show up, hit your deadlines, laugh at the right moments in meetings, remember to ask a coworker how their weekend went. Nobody's flagging you as struggling because struggling to most people looks loud. It looks like missed shifts and obvious cracks. Almost nobody's watching for the quiet version, the one where you get in the car after work, sit in the driveway for 4 extra minutes before going inside, and just breathe. Because that's the only part of the day nobody needs anything from you. So, what actually helps when the rest you've been getting hasn't been doing much? Start with the performing, because it's usually the biggest drain. Nobody accounts for. Every time you say, "I'm fine," when wanting to lie down on the floor of a public bathroom, every cheerful reply you send with an exclamation point you don't feel costs something real. Researchers who study emotional labor call this surface acting, performing a feeling you don't actually have. and it measurably takes more out of you than expressing one that's real. You don't need to announce your exhaustion to everyone you know, but somewhere with at least one person, the acting needs to stop for a minute. Even a single message that says, "Honestly, I'm running on empty right now," tends to quietly lower a bill you've been paying without noticing. Then, cut the number of decisions you're making in a day. A mind this tired treats every choice, even a small one, as a withdrawal from an account that's already close to empty. What to wear? What to make for dinner? Which route to take home? Pick something repeatable and stick to it for a while. It'll feel boring, almost embarrassingly so. And that's sort of the point. Boring is cheap. Right now, cheap is what you need. There's also a difference between numbing out and actually recovering, and most people confuse the two constantly. 4 hours of short videos might keep your body still, but your eyes are still processing fast cuts and sound and color the entire time, and your dopamine system is still getting yanked around in tiny spikes throughout. You come out of it foggier than when you went in. Actual recovery tends to look almost insultingly dull by comparison. Lying on the floor with your phone in another room, staring at the ceiling doing nothing for 15 minutes, or sitting somewhere quiet long enough that your eyes lose focus. On purpose. Your brain will protest loudly for the first few minutes because it's been trained to expect constant stimulation. So stillness will feel wrong before it feels good. Stay in it anyway. That discomfort easing off is usually the first real sign your nervous system is finally coming down off high alert. None of this fixes everything by tomorrow, and it would be dishonest to promise that it does. But something worth holding on to on the days this feels impossible. Exhaustion like this behaves a lot like a smoke alarm going off in a house that's been running too many appliances for too long without a break. A signal doing exactly its job, not proof that something in you is broken. You're allowed to close a few tabs, let people wonder what's going on with you for a while, and let yourself be dull and low effort for a season, without deciding that makes you a failure at being a person. If this video resonated with you, and you realized you've been carrying more than you've admitted to yourself, I want to mention something I created that might genuinely help. The Childhood Healing Workbook is a 31-page guided workbook designed to help you understand where some of these patterns began. Not to blame anyone or relive the past, but to recognize the emotional habits that may still be shaping your life today. It includes exercises on emotional triggers, attachment styles, boundaries, family patterns, self-compassion, and more. All grounded in established psychological research, but written in plain English. If you've spent years surviving without really understanding why you feel this way, you'll find the link in the pinned comment below.